Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video, and today we are switching it up yet again. We are going to be doing a boxing fight review. So if you did not know, the new KSI versus KOs Temper Misfits 4 boxing card just wrapped up not too long ago, probably like 20-30 minutes ago, and we both watched it and it was definitely a pretty good card. Lots of good fights on it. So I figured, hey, why not take a second? We'll sit down, go over all the fights, give you guys our thoughts on it. So yeah, we'll get right into what the first one was. So the first fight of the night was Anthony Taylor versus Idris Virgo. I'll be honest, I knew who Anthony Taylor was, but I've never seen him fight, and I didn't really know who Idris Virgo was, but it was a good fight. But a lot of the things I noticed, especially with Anthony Taylor, he was a bit smaller than Idris. Idris definitely had the height advantage on him, and pretty much his strat was to just try and rush in, bomb rush him, and just go for it, and it didn't really work out. This fight, it ended up going the distance. There wasn't a knockout or anything. It was good up until the end. They both had good shots. They were both hitting each other pretty hard, but at the end of the day, Idris got the unanimous decision, and he won. Any thoughts?
No.
Moving on to the next fight. This one was actually pretty good. This was the Elle Brooke versus Faith Ordway, who are both two female influencers. I don't know what they do. But that card, I'm not gonna lie, this is the first female fight I ever watched. I think this was Elle Brooke's first fight. Not Elle Brooke. Elle Brooke fought before. I think she fought on Misfits 2, but this was Faith's first fight. And the biggest thing here was Elle's a lot shorter. I think it was like an 8-inch height difference between the two. But I will say Elle, she came out throwing hands. She came out fighting like a freaking bulldog is what they kept saying, which I'd have to agree.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. From all the women's fights that I've seen, I'm not gonna lie, I've never seen one, not to be rude or anything, but I've never seen one where they have genuinely good technique, where they're really working on defense. Even from the iDubbbz one, I think there was 2 female fights in that one or something. And I've seen, I think, one other female fight. And just all of them, I feel like they just swing their arms. There's no defense or anything. And you could even clearly see that in this fight, is that it was just going head to head on. It's pretty much a game of luck. If you go ahead and land a headshot, you have enough power on it, you have a winner. So I think, honestly, if she went against someone that had a little bit more skill as far as defense goes and just being able to, or at least even counter better, yeah, if I'm real, both fighters kind of sucked.
Moving on to fight number 3, the legend himself returns, Swarms versus Ryan Taylor. Now this fight I was actually pretty excited about, because if you didn't see Swarms in the last fight, I'll give him credit. He got in the ring with KSI on short notice. He was out of shape. He didn't really have time to train, but he still got in the ring. He went out there, he put what he had on the line. He fought. But he came back into this fight. He came back in shape. He had a full training camp. He was ready to go.
Did he get a knockout?
Yeah, pretty much. He came ready to go, and it was like the first or second hit he threw. I forget if it was right or left, but he just threw one punch.
Yeah, that's right.
He hit Ryan Taylor in the eye, and I don't think they ever officially said what it was, but after that, Ryan Taylor, he couldn't see. And pretty much a lot of people are thinking probably his orbital bone. He broke his orbital bone.
Well, that one hit him
couldn't fight.
Right here, right?
Yeah, he hit him right under where your orbital bone is. He hit him right there, and it was either fractured, broken, same difference. Yeah, pretty much he finished him up real quick, light work. And I want to see Storms called out a few people. I'd like to see him definitely fight again, because he's only going to get better from here, and he's definitely very entertaining to watch. Moving on to our next card, the 4th fight of the night was B. Dave, someone who actually I've never really heard of him, and I've never seen him fight. But from what they were talking about with him, he seemed pretty good. He was also fighting on 10 days notice, and he was fighting against a mystery opponent who I definitely wasn't expecting. The only person more legendary than Swarms, Luis Pineda, aka Mr. Pinata himself, Mr. Back of the head every time he got hit, comes back, and he definitely improved. He was a lot better. Can definitely say I was impressed by just his output. He came back, he got some hard hits against B-Dave, who looked good. I've never seen him fight in the past, but everyone's like, yeah, he's definitely a challenge. He's not someone just to, look at and be like, okay, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. And, you also give him the benefit of the doubt that 10 days notice isn't, really time to prepare for a fight. But Pineda definitely, he came out, and from the first KSI fight where everyone's like, what the fuck is this? This dude's just, falling on the ground, kneeling, hitting the back of his head. He's running away. He's not fighting. To this fight where everybody was cheering for him. He was throwing hits. I thought he was going to get a knockout, which I wish he did, but sadly he didn't. It ended up going all the way, and he won by unanimous decision.
Yeah, no, and his jab was fucking something else. You could even see anytime he threw it, it was clean. Like, that was a very clean jab.
So yeah, there's definitely a few people he could fight next. I think.
But I would like to see him and Swarms fight.
Yeah, him
that
and
would
Swarms.
be pretty funny.
Give us that next.
Honestly, who do you think would win that? Because when is the next Misfits? Do they have that even announced?
There's going to be a Misfits. They announced Misfits 5 is going to be next month. February 25th. And that one's going to be...
Jay Swingler?
I think so.
Yeah, no,
yeah.
I fucking love Jay.
So it's going to be him headlining it. But then I'm guessing Misfits 6 is going to be KSI's next card. And then we may see Swarms and Pineda again on that, and maybe they'll be fighting each other. I don't know, but I can hope. Moving on to this was the fight I was most excited for, fight number 5 of the night. Salt Poppy versus Josh Bruckner. I was very excited for this fight, especially after the last Salt Poppy fight where he got a knockout with one combo in like 30 seconds. And then the last Josh Bruckner fight where he looked good, but I don't even remember the dude he was fighting. But the guy was pretty much trying to fight himself and running the whole time. It was a joke. Because Josh is big dude and he's taller. He has more reach. He's taller. I'm pretty sure he weighed more than Salt Poppy. Salt Poppy, though, he's been boxing a long time, has a lot of experience. He's very technical. He knows what he's doing, which he very much showed in this fight. Because, the whole time you could see definitely compared to the fights before it where Salt Poppy wasn't just running in or anything. He wasn't going for it. He was kind of feeling him out. He's playing with the range despite the fact that he was at a disadvantage range-wise. And then as soon as he got his chance, he went in. I think he threw a left at him and knocked him out cold. Like, he got a clean knockout, and he really didn't throw too much prior to that knockout, which I think was right now. It was in the second round where he got a knockout, and it was clean. Oh, what's it? He showed off a lot.
Yeah.
Where, Josh Bruckner would go in, he'd throw like a combo or something, and then Salt Poppy's just jump in, he's throwing his guard down, he's mocking him pretty much. Yeah, he's pretty much just sitting there, he's like, you're not doing anything to me. And even because you could tell when he sat down after the first round, like, he was tired, he wasn't gassed or anything, but you could tell, he was moving, he was tired. Same thing with Josh. But then, as soon as that bell rang, he was up. He was up in the middle of the ring. He was ready to go. And the whole time, Josh was just throwing out some punches, trying to get range, trying to use that to his advantage, and he just kept parrying them. And the second Josh went in to, get a hit on him, hit him clean, threw him to the ground, and the fight was over. But yeah, even then, moving on to the next fight, which I was also pretty excited for, fight number 6 was Slim versus Tom Zanetti. Slim was someone where in, the last few fights I saw of him, he's done really good. This was his 6th fight. And Tom Zanetti, this was pretty much like his debut into, the YouTuber boxing. And he performed out there as they went at it. And Tom, there's a few points where I'm like, oh, damn, Slim might knock him out. Oh, he's done. But nah, that guy kept fighting. He went all the way through. Same thing with Slim, where even he kind of brought up earlier where weight classes matter. Because at the end of it, Slim, he won by unanimous decision at the end of 4 rounds. But he was talking about how he's like, I got to drop down back to my weight class. Because Slim had to gain weight for this. But even he didn't. I think he was supposed to make 175 and he got to 169. And he was like, I'm throwing all these hits where, normally, it phase them and knock them down and do something, but, it hits them, it maybe phases them a little bit and then right back up, which even you can see in their faces where Tom's hit, his eye was all messed up for Slim, Slim's face was messed up. You look at Tom Zanetti at the end of the fight and he's just like, I'm chilling, dude. Which is where it was definitely a good fight. It was a good challenge for Slim. Both of them by the end, they were both just gassed and they were both just kind of done trying to get the fight over with, but they both fought their hearts out. I'm excited to see Slim fight again, see who he's going to fight next, and I think Tom definitely will be a very interesting opponent for any future people who want to fight him.
That's
They
where
went
there
all the way
was
4 rounds.
Yeah, there was a lot of times though where it kind of went both ways. You had a feeling that one person was gonna knock, like especially in the later rounds. I thought
Yeah.
Slim was gonna be over, but then at the beginning, I thought Slim pretty much had this in the bag. But no, you gotta give him credit. I think they were the only match that went all rounds, right?
This was the 3rd fight to go all the way. Last but certainly not least, the final fight of the night, KSI versus KOs Temper, which originally was supposed to be with Dylan Dennis, but he decided to drop out, so he's now known as Dodo Dennis. I have no words for him, but I was actually really excited for this. Honestly, I think I was more excited than I was for the original Dylan Dennis fight to have Temper, because Temper's someone where, we've seen him fight. I know King Kenny knocked him out, but even in his last fight, he got a really good knockout. And it's something where also he's taller, he has more reach, and also he's been training. He wasn't specifically training for KSI because he was on this card originally. He was supposed to be the one fighting a mystery fighter, but when Dylan Dennis dropped out, they wanted to find another southpaw to replace him with because KSI had been training to fight a southpaw. So they replaced him with Temper, which I was definitely really excited for, and I can say the fight did not disappoint. We definitely saw a lot of new stuff from KSI, despite it being a very short fight. KSI ended up knocking him out with a very clean knockout. The biggest thing I noticed with KSI was he's an aggressor. He was just going in. Temper's trying to keep some range on him, use that to his advantage, but KSI just went in on him. He'd went in, and his one thing is his footwork, is he's constantly just bouncing. He was moving around. He wasn't really showing what he's going to do next, which ultimately that's what led to the knockout, where he's moving his feet on like he's going to do something. He threw out right hand, left hook, knocked Temper clean out to the floor. Like, it was over after that. I think the round went like a minute, 2 minutes, something like that. It was pretty quick first round knockout, which I wasn't expecting. I thought Temper would hang in there longer, but KSI has clearly shown he's been training. He's got a lot of power, and I just want to see him fight Jake Paul at this point.
Yeah, I mean, that's when you have a fight like this where pretty much all odds are stacked against you. Paces more reach, more height, southpaw, it's because even at the beginning of the fight, I'm like, because you brought up the point of how KSI hasn't really had like compared to Jake Paul, he's lacking experience, I guess you could say, especially when it comes to his competitors. So that's where, like, even going into the fight after you made that comment, I'm like, okay, is KSI an actually good fighter? And that's where I was kind of analyzing it pretty thoroughly, and I'm like, all right, we'll go ahead and actually see. And you're able to tell from his footwork was good, even because I was trying to figure out what his footwork was right before he got the KO. Because I was trying to see if he was, because when you're training to fight a southpaw, are you pretty much training to be a southpaw? Or are you just training how to like counter them or things like that? Or are you kind of doing a flex between both?
That's where I don't know necessarily. I know something is like you want to keep your lead foot on the outside of their lead foot. You don't want to get inside of it, because southpaw orthodox, they can kind of get mixed up in that. Because right before the knockout is one thing he was doing. He was very bouncy.
Yeah.
He wasn't like moving. He wasn't staying still. He was bouncing. He was on the balls of his feet the whole time. He was kind of moving, He was shifting his legs and stuff, moving around, shuffling his legs, not shifting. He was shuffling around, and it's kind of something where I don't know what he's doing with his feet, because he's just moving, and then you don't really know what he's going to do with his hands, and then he just, out of nowhere, bang, bang on the floor.
Well, that's a weird technique, too, because it's not like, he's still moving while he's throwing both punches. Like, he threw his first one, and then kept moving into the second one. He didn't really...
exactly.
Which is very hard to do. I think I've seen one other knockout that was like that, and I'm like, how the fuck do these guys do that?
Yeah.
Where they just keep moving forward while setting up a combo. Which, I mean, after seeing that, KSI, he does have a lot of skill, and at this point, even after seeing Jake Paul fight, though, that's the one thing is we don't really know what he's like as far as going several rounds, especially from his last fight and then this one. The last time he went a bunch of rounds was with Logan. But if he fights Jake, it's not going to be round 1, round 2 knockout or anything. I think that's kind of even out of the question. Jake could take some fucking hits.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's where I think the biggest thing is with the last fight, I was like, okay, it was cool. I get why he had to do the 2 fights one night. It was kind of disappointing, but it's something where he didn't really get to showcase his skill. And the one thing with KSI is he's always kind of just been throwing his hands out. You know, he doesn't. It's never been too much like technical ability. You know, being real careful with it and having a ton of skills. He kind of just goes in and he just brawl with them. But in this one, you really saw the footwork. You saw a different combo than what we're used to seeing with him. He didn't throw like one of his big things is his overhand right where he just chucks a right hand out. He didn't do that at all, and he got a clean knockout with a nice combo, which could definitely be lethal moving forward.
Well, and even him, it was first a right and then a left on the knockout, right?
Yeah, it was a right straight, left hook.
Yeah, no, he's not winding or anything. Like, it wasn't
predictable. I didn't see it coming. I'm like, he's going to do something.
Well, especially the second.
Oh, yeah, Temper didn't see it coming at all. He 1 second he was up, next second he was on the ground.
I'm not going to lie, though. I was expecting more from Temper, though. Because I get it. You know, that was a fucking... It's very unpredictable, as you said, but I was kind of expecting a little bit more endurance.
Did you guys watch it? What are your thoughts down below? Also, I want to give a big thank you to Hunter for joining me in this and also allowing me to use his setup. He will be linked down below. Check him out. He's got some pretty dope videos over there. Other than that, I will see you all again very soon. We are out of here. Peace.